Good morning, welcome to 59 Minutes. My name is Levi Kones. It is Thursday, and on Thursday we try to do stories that give you hope, that inspire you, that make you realize that there are people going through things in this country of ours, and they are actually winning. We have one such winner right here today, a cancer survivor. Mwende Mutiso, karibu sana.
Thank you so much for having me.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Tell us your story. You're a young lady. How old are you, if I may ask?
I'm 27 years old.
You're 27 years old.
So to begin with, I'm a student. I study psychology and counseling, and I also work with an organization called Resource Center for Women and Girls for girl empowerment. It deals with girl empowerment, basically.
Yeah.
I am an auntie. I'm the last born in our family. And yeah, so I am...
How many siblings?
5. Yeah, so
you're the baby?
I'm the baby in the family, and I'm the first to also get breast cancer, or rather cancer in general, because we don't have any history of cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my cancer story started in 2016 when I was doing my self-examination, self-breast examination, and I noticed a lump in my breast.
Yeah.
I went to a clinic and I was told that, it's nothing.
Yeah. You're then 24?
23 actually.
23.
Yes. So I was told it's nothing, and I kind of just brushed it off. And after around, actually it took me around 7 months to get diagnosed, going to at least 4 hospitals, where I was finally told, the last hospital I went to, the doctor told me, actually this is a lump and we need to start examining it. I was sent to for a test, which came back inconclusive, and I was told to do a test which was called core biopsy. But because I was very green in cancer, actually my family as well, we did not know a lot about cancer, so we were depending on what advice we were given. And we were advised to do a surgery which is called a lumpectomy, to remove the lump and the surrounding tissues instead of doing a core biopsy, since I didn't have insurance and that was cheaper to just go ahead and do the surgery. Yeah. So the results came back, and I was told I have stage 0 breast cancer. I started going to one of the national hospitals. Yes, that's the beginning. Actually, some doctors call it pre-cancer because the cancer is still in the milk ducts and it has not affected any other tissues. Yeah, so I was told, I went to one of the national...
What did you think?
At that time, I didn't think it was cancer. I was young, and I was just thinking, from what I had learned initially is that people who get breast cancer are over 40 years.
Yes, in their 40s, yeah.
And I was 23. So we actually went for a second opinion and I think a third one, and all the results came back the same. So at that time, my family, especially my mom, was very in denial, because her baby has cancer, and it can't be. Yeah. It was very surreal, but at the same time we just opted to do hurry the process, because at that time I was still feeling that cancer is a death sentence. So having cancer, I just wanted to we wanted to do everything as soon as possible so that we treat the cancer, basically. Yes. So once I went to the hospital, I was given, this was now around July 2016, I was given and I was told I need to do radiotherapy, 30 sessions, but because the queue was so long, I was told I'll start my radiotherapy the following year in January. So that was around 6 months later.
Yeah, which is not good.
It's not good because I had already done the surgery. Yeah. So one of my mentors, I remember, she said, cancer does not know how to wait, so we cannot wait for 6 months for you to continue your treatment. So we fundraised for my treatment so that I could go to a private hospital. And during this time, I managed to also get in a program which was paying for the full radiotherapy. I went to one of the private hospitals to now start my radiotherapy.
Yeah. How many were you supposed to do?
30 sessions.
30?
Yes, 30 sessions, and then be on medication for 5 years thereafter. So when I went to the hospital, the doctor informed me that, you know, he noticed that I still had a lump in my breast. So I had to again start all over again with all the tests, the MRIs, you know, the scans. And now this time around, I did the core biopsy, the one which I didn't do before. And the results came back and they showed that I still had breast cancer, but stage 0, but it had progressed a bit to grade 3. So at that time, I was told that I need to also do, to hurry the process of treatment, since I had stayed quite a number of months without doing the treatment. Yeah. So I was told that I needed to either do a lumpectomy, then do the 30 sessions of radio, and then treatment for 5 years, or do a mastectomy, then medication for 5 years. So
was it shocking, considering you had said before that you didn't think it was
going in that direction? It was shocking, and at the same time, I think I was on autopilot because I was just, you know, making decisions. I just wanted to get over with the whole thing. And I was completely afraid. Yeah. And at the same time, I didn't want people to know. I didn't want, other than family and close friends, I didn't want people to know, because I felt as if it's something I did wrong, because how come it's me, the youngest in our family, who has breast cancer? So I felt like it might be something which I did. Maybe, you know, is it something I'm eating, or and you know, it was just confusing. Yes. So yeah, I decided to do the mastectomy.
People have a big problem with that decision.
Yes, they do. It was not easy to make the decision, and I remember, you know, like, I also had my family who were having my back, and everybody was encouraging me, and since the prognosis of having a mastectomy were much better than, you know, a lumpectomy, and of course the financial constraint, so it made sense.
Looks good on paper, but you're losing breath.
Yes, I know. At that time, I just thought, you know, it makes sense in terms of finances, until I think a year later, that's actually when it hit me, because I was putting on clothes and some of them I could not wear. I had to cover my, you know, my chest completely because the scar was really big. You know, I had not done my research very well. I didn't know, for instance, how big the scar would be. The first time I saw, I think, a mastectomy scar was on myself the day after, I think 2 days after the surgery, when they were removing the band-aid, and I was like, whoa, it is big. It is so long, you know. So I didn't have that information, but because we were trying to beat time to do everything so fast, it made sense to do a mastectomy. So I did a mastectomy, and I think 2 weeks later, the results came back, and it showed that the cancer was still stage 0, but they had removed the whole breast, the surrounding tissues, and some of the lymph nodes, and the lymph nodes were clear. So I was declared cancer-free on the same year. So that first journey was long psychologically, but short in terms of months.
Quite a roller coaster.
Yes, it was a roller coaster. And after, I think, a few months later, that's when I was like, okay, I remember there's a day it really broke down. I was like, oh my God, you know, why did I do a mastectomy? Like, how am I, you know, I don't look good. I felt like I really looked ugly. And I felt like a part,
self-esteem.
Yeah, and I felt a part of me was, you know, cut off. And it was not helping, because some people, you know, I know some people mean well with what they're telling you, but some of them don't actually think through what they're telling you. I remember there's this woman who told me that she also had a mastectomy, and as she was encouraging me, according to her, she was telling me that, you know, she asked me if I'm dating. I told her yes. She told me, omba Mungu that your boyfriend asikuache, kwa sababu we unajua uko na matiti moja sasa. So that was, you know, and then other people trying to guess which breast was removed. So like you'll, it was just confusing, and I didn't. That's why one of the reasons I didn't want people to know that I had done a mastectomy.
Because you find all sorts.
Yes, but you know, at the same time, other than those, there is also this huge group of people, my support system, who are there for me and who are encouraging me. And there's one mentor of mine who's also a breast cancer survivor. She was, you know, she told me that, you know what, Eunice, you are not your breast. Just because you have done a mastectomy does not mean you're a lesser person or a woman. So yeah, having those kind of people also motivated me, and it made me start loving myself even more. And I started talking about, you know, a mastectomy. But at that time, not to so many people. Still, there's a small circle. Yes. So I was still not as comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, I would, whenever I wore maybe something which was revealing, I would wear a scarf on top of it, you know, just put on a scarf so that nobody will see my scarf.
But you felt like it was behind you.
I felt like it was behind me completely.
You had a mastectomy,
yes.
cancer is gone,
yes.
you should be moving on with life.
Exactly. So a year later, I got really depressed because of, you know, what I had gone through. And I felt like, you know, I had started moving past that. You know, I seek medical help. And I started moving past that and accepting like what had happened. And you know, my life started moving forward. I started going back to school, to university, because I had stopped.
Yeah.
So my life was on track again. So now until again last year, when I got, actually it was last year, but around December, when I was doing my annual checkup at the hospital, I had noticed another nodule underneath my mastectomy scar. When I went to the hospital for now the, you know, normal checkup, routine checkup, I was told by the doctor that it was a cyst, and you know, there's nothing to worry about because they had already removed the whole breast and the surrounding tissues.
What were you feeling yourself at that moment?
I was actually confident. I have to say I was confident with the information I was given, because I think maybe part of me didn't want to go back to, you know, the process of maybe, you know, the paranoia and what have you. So I felt confident because I felt, you know, it's a doctor who has told me, so
it's
for
got
sure.
to be this way, yes.
Yes, and I was still on medication, and every so often I will do scans and I would go for blood tests, and everything was okay. So I felt really confident. So a few months later, I noticed on my neck I had around two lymph nodes which were slightly swollen. And at that time, I had a cold, I remember. I thought it was actually a cold. But after I got better, it was still there, no pain whatsoever. So I went to the hospital for another checkup. And once I was examined, I was sent for a series of tests.
Yeah.
The tests I did core biopsies on my neck and the scar, and the results came back that it was recurrent breast cancer. So I was sent for another test, a PET scan, to just check if it had metastasized to any other part.
How did you deal with those results?
At that time, I was, you know, I have to say I didn't believe the results, because I was just thinking from stage 0 to stage 4, no symptoms whatsoever. You know, I've been doing all the right things. I've been watching, no pain at all. My breathing is great. I have no problem, no physical problem. I wasn't feeling, you know, the fatigues. I was okay.
So you're not really buying that story now?
Yeah, I just felt like I need to do this PET. I remember even when I was going for the PET scan, I was like, I need to do this PET scan so that it can rule out those biopsy results. It cannot be. So I went, and the results came back that not only was the cancer on my, underneath my mastectomy scars and on my cervical nodules, lymph nodes rather, but it had also gone to one of my lungs.
Yeah.
So again, I just felt it's another
Who was
blow.
accompanying you for these results?
My sister, sometimes I will go with my sisters, one of my sisters, or my boyfriend. So I had somebody to go to go to the hospital with. Even doing the checkups, I had somebody, so this time around I just felt like, hi, especially the reason why I felt like the news might not be good is because I remember I called the hospital for them to send me my PET scan results, and they refused. They told me I have to go and see a doctor.
Yeah.
So I was
Usually
just
that's
like,
not good,
oh yeah. So I was like, not again, and still, this was now November. I didn't have enough information about stage 4 cancer.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay.
So we can pick it up from there.
Sure.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these messages. We are speaking to Mwende Mutiso on her journey with breast cancer. Don't go away.
So vile nasema, wacha nikubatie statistics. Niko na gamia 1,500. Tunakuwa drapo gamia na kuwa 6,000. 2,000 natengeneza leather, natengeneza viatu, wallet, kibeti, nauza hapa, na batia wewe 50%. Wacha niweke credit nikupigie.
Namna gani wewe? Hii mambo ya kuishiwa na credit kila saa? Come on. Nunua hiyo simu ya Vodafone. Calling fiber to fiber is 0 shillings per minute. And it is not expensive. Only 2,999